Hi, it's Joy, and today I'm going to be watching Obi-Wan Kenobi Part 1. I am so excited for the show to finally be out, to check back in with Obi-Wan after, obviously, the events of the Clone Wars and the prequels, but before he reaches the sequels. Yeah, very excited for this show. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon, along with all of the episodes of the Clone Wars. I'm partway through Rebels at the moment. Let's go. I have chills, and I've only really become a huge Star Wars fan in the last few years. I can't even imagine what this is like for people that properly grew up with it. Is this a memory? Oh god, no. It's the babies! If they show me how Grogu survived, I will pay them a lot of money that I don't have. Order 66 and all its brutality. Oh my god, are some of these kids gonna survive too? Because the children wouldn't be the focus of the clones. They'd assume we can mop them up afterwards. I am looking for someone carrying a small green bundle in the background. I didn't see it, it's fine. Oof. I've seen you die, bitch. I don't mind that he looks different from the way he looked in Rebels. He looks just as scary. Okay, yeah, that's sinister.
It involves a Jedi hiding right here.
No.
Lovely saloon. Threatening you.
So sinister. I don't think he has the evil drawl as well as Jason Isaacs did, but otherwise he's terrifying.
Help you? But the Jedi code is like an itch. You cannot help
Jedi
it.
good people and want to help others? Yes.
Your saloon his undoing.
There would just, you know, with Kanan, Grogu, as well as Ahsoka and Obi-Wan and all those, there would just be tiny Jedi that survived as well.
You're wasting your time, you know that, right? You'll never find us all.
We should be hunting bigger prey.
He is not yours to find. We are past this, third sister. I will not warn you again. You will forget this fixation with Kenobi, or I will release.
He's definitely not on this planet, no?
Is that clear?
Turn around, please, sir. Hello there.
Keep moving.
The urge to help,
Something you want to say?
to try and help people that need it. But he has to protect Luke. And the greater mission. The greater hope for the future. It would go against every part of him. I do feel like we're going to see that getting tested over the course of these episodes. He's had a very lonely and miserable existence. He probably feels he deserves his penance for failing.
I've heard the Jedi are all but extinct.
It's interesting because I swear, in The Mandalorian, he's like, "What's a Jedi? I've never heard of that." I'm so happy we're getting this show. He's killed a lot of innocents since then, but there is good in him. Yeah. Now, is that just trauma-induced nightmares because of everything he's been through, or is that Force-induced nightmares? Is the Jedi going to sense him and come to him? Because he could be the Inquisitors right here, which may be what they're after. Watching over him. Oh. Just like his dad. The kid he once knew. The grief in his heart. And the shame. And the failure. But the hope. Still there.
Master. I thought I saw you in town, but I wasn't sure. What are you doing here, Obi-Wan?
My name is Ben.
Ben Kenobi. Unrelated. He may be my brother.
You must leave.
He's protecting
You'll draw
something
too much
huge.
attention.
But I have nowhere to go. You were once a great Jedi.
Ouch.
The time of the Jedi is over.
He's gonna die. The Inquisitors are looking for him. We seen baby Leia? Oh my gosh!
She insisted you would find it amusing, Your Highness.
I did not expect the show would end up in this direction.
No? Traitor, maybe?
Leia Organa. Down.
I just seeing both Luke and Leia. I expected Luke because obviously Obi-Wan's on Tatooine.
Like anyone would miss me if I wasn't there.
I'd miss you.
All
Me
I ever do
too.
is wave. I promise I won't do it again.
She wants you to be true to yourself, but you do also have to do what you're told.
Doing that.
She is a little chaos. Ooh. Who's this? Who's watching? Stay away from the child. You left that Jedi kid or young man to fend for himself. It's crazy, the Inquisitors are here. They're desperate to find Obi-Wan, although they did say it wasn't their thing to find him. I wonder who it could be, but...
I want you to stay away from him.
Oof.
We don't need anything from you, Ben.
We talked about this. When the time comes, he must be trained.
Like you trained his father.
Jesus, yeah.
Anakin is dead.
I love you.
Fuck.
There's a Jedi hiding on this planet.
Technically there are
I
3.
need to know where he is.
You have no rights here.
Oof.
We're not under the Empire's.
This franchise does like to take hands.
If anyone.
How is that woman not still screaming, or does it instantly cauterize it?
You got a Jedi on that farm too?
No.
Why should I believe you? Tell me where the Jedi is, or this man and his family die.
Jesus.
They failed you. Abandoned.
Obi-Wan is like, of all the villagers for you to focus in on.
No point in protecting them.
He is brave because he could say,
No! If you remember anything,
he could easily say the Jedi's right there and, you know, save his family. But he isn't doing it despite his anger towards Obi-Wan. He's just staying strong, which I do respect.
rewards will be given.
Different approaches, the carrot and the stick at the same freaking time. Though I suppose they don't have the authority, or their mandate isn't to kill non-Jedi.
You are too impulsive.
She definitely is.
Wasting time.
You still want Kenobi.
He was literally a couple of meters away from you.
Didn't do it for you.
You kind of did a little bit. Because if you said, I think that guy's a Jedi, they might have left your family alone. I mean, they probably wouldn't have done, but... I really didn't, like, I didn't watch any trailers for this show. I had no idea little Leia was going to be a part of it, and seeing her life.
The Empire is finally lining some pockets. Huh?
Yeah, that's all people care about, isn't it?
We need to address. I didn't come here to end slavery, Belle. I came to eat your food. Save the bleeding heart for the Senate.
It's good manners.
You don't need manners when you're talking to a lower life form.
Then I guess I don't need manners when I'm talking to
He
you.
set that one right up.
You're not even a real Organa.
Oof. What a brat. He looks like a little brat, no
You're
offense to the
scared of
actor.
him. Your father.
Oof.
You want him to like you, so you think being like him will make people frightened of you.
This is Leia, and I
You're
love
the
her.
one who's scared. I may not have seen much, cousin,
I
but I can see that.
love this kid. Of course I do. She's little Leia.
You have to rise above Leia.
He told her she's not a real Organa. He was being a bitch.
You owe him an apology.
No, she does not.
Never be digested by a Jacko beast.
She doesn't owe him an apology. You didn't hear what he said to her. And she's younger than him. She handled that magnificently.
It may seem so.
I don't want to be a senator.
You're gonna be so much more than that, my love.
Not even a real Organa.
Oof. You are, my darling. And a real Skywalker.
Don't ever say that. The planet will look to you, Leia.
Well, it's still
There are
there.
many ways to lead. I'll
Though
wait for you downstairs.
I do think a system where you become a senator because your dad was a senator is ridiculous. It is the Empire, but it also like that in the Republic, so... That's our girl. Oh, there's danger in the woods!
Hello, princess.
Is this just someone that wants her because she's a princess?
Just for you.
Jeez. Or is it because they know who she is? Because she'd be a valuable target just being a daughter of a senator and a princess. Even more valuable if they knew who she was. Sweet baby shouldn't be scared like this. She's resourceful. Oh, she's about to watch him die. She's so small.
She needs you, Obi-Wan. We can't trust anyone else.
It's been 10 years.
I don't think he believes that he's capable of it anymore or worthy.
Find someone else.
Fuck.
She'll be better off.
It's his self-worth. He doesn't have any after he failed Anakin. He failed everyone. Fuck, who are these monsters and what do they want? The Jedi? He didn't help him. And he's gonna carry that with him to the end of his days. But is that gonna spur him to help Leia?
The ship is on its way there now.
He has faith in you. He knows all that happened before and he still has faith in you.
Mistakes. We all did. It's the past. Move on. Be done with it.
It doesn't work that easily for everyone.
Anakin. But you can save her.
Is it... This is a dumb question. Is it common knowledge that Anakin became Darth Vader? Or do other people believe he died in the fight and that Darth Vader is a new Sith? Or is it just kind of because the good person he was died, everyone just refers to it in that way?
One last fight.
She's so brave.
Anyone tired?
Oh, baby, you're in space alone. But you're very brave.
My father will rescue me. He'll send over an army.
No one's coming for you.
What do they want with her? Is it because she's potentially force sensitive? They sense a child like that? Or...
Fought beside her father during the war. He'll come.
Fuck.
He won't be able to help it.
So it's part of her trap to get Obi-Wan? He's not left in 10 years. Part of him's been hiding from everything that happened, everything he went through. Everything he failed.
Well, you coming or not?
The moment of truth. Just wearing it on his belt like that, anyone could see! Okay, I really enjoyed this episode. I think it did a really good job of setting the scene for how Obi-Wan is right now, where his mental state is after 10 years. He's kind of just got stuck in this monotonous life that's boring and miserable, feeling just kind of wallowing in a way in the fact that he failed. Yes, I do think he still has that spark of hope in him that is Luke's existence and Leia's, but they all seem to be very fixated on Luke being the one that will save the day, partly as well because Luke is the one he has to get or look over. But I think the point in which we find him 10 years on, it's very much, while the hope is still there, it is barely there. It is flickering. It is, that spark could be snuffed out at any moment. I think there is a part of him that when Luke's uncle says, leave him, just let him live a life on our farm and be better off, there is a part of Obi-Wan that's like, yeah, that actually would be better for him because all I do is bring misery and pain. The Jedi have gone and all they did was fail in the end and cause misery and pain to everyone. seeing Luke grow up, reminding him of when he first met Anakin. He's around a similar age to the age he was when he first met Anakin. He's like pretending to fly to be a pilot. Anakin's an excellent pilot. It will hurt to see this kid that you failed. I mean, also Anakin failed everybody else. It's not like all the people that were supposed to help raise Anakin failed and Anakin was blameless. He was probably the most blameful in a lot of ways. But they didn't see Palpatine's manipulation and grooming. They saw the warning signs but didn't realise just how serious they were. Hindsight is fantastic. I wonder how many of the warning signs, how serious we would have viewed them if we hadn't have watched Anakin's descent to the dark side, both in the prequels and in the Clone Wars. There's about much more throughout the Clone Wars, if we didn't know where it ended up. But sort of, he carries that weight with him, and I think that's that fear of, I shouldn't be the one to shepherd Luke. I shouldn't be the one that is left to teach him the ways of the Jedi. The ways of the Jedi got Anakin nowhere, they got me nowhere. I think he's very much in that kind of depressed, mixed up state of mind where he feels like he failed everyone he cared about, he failed the Republic, he cannot help anybody, and he's not worthy of helping anybody. Yes, there's still part of him that's like, one day that little boy is going to help save everything, but I think he's already thought that once in his life, so he's definitely in a dark place. Maybe the events of this miniseries, I assume it's a one-off miniseries because it's like all the big actors. I don't assume it's going to be multiple seasons. I'd like it to be. I assume the events of this miniseries is going to kind of leave him potentially, ultimately, in a slightly better place. Maybe he'll even be able to make contact with his master. After his nightmare, I don't know whether that was like, he's not managed to complete the training that Yoda had told him about, or whether that was just right now he's struggling with it, because obviously we know he learns to live on after death, etc., like Yoda did. And but he's dealing with a freaking lot of trauma right now, as is everybody who survived the Clone Wars, and being one of the key parts of it, and watching firsthand how it all falls apart, having to fight someone that was like your little brother, leaving him for what you thought was dead, and then hearing about the rise of a great Sith Lord and realising, well, fuck, in some ways he's worse than dead. It's a lot. Now, I think it's really hard to watch your hero not help someone. You know, someone comes to him genuinely asking for help and he basically just turned him away, and the next time you see that guy, he's dead. At the same time, and you want to think of a way that Obi-Wan would have been like, yeah, I'll hide you for a few days and then we'll smuggle you off world and we'll do all this great stuff. But all that would have done is raised, you know, made them realise that there was another Jedi on Tatooine, or at the very least that there were Jedi sympathisers on Tatooine. It could have exposed Luke, because, I'm sorry, there's a little boy running around called Luke Skywalker. There's every chance that people could put 1 and 1, 2 and 2 together and get 4, because a kid around the right age sharing the Skywalker name, I know why they sent him there, because obviously Anakin was never going to be like, I'd like to go home, I have such good memories, but it was kind of the safest place for him that was still a risk. I mean, any prominent child who looks the right kind of ethnicity and was born around the same time would be, if they were really to go looking, it would be a lot of kids, but yeah, it wouldn't be the hardest thing for them to do with the resources they have. But it would potentially put Luke in danger, and it would put Obi-Wan in danger. Obviously, he spent these last 10 years losing himself, I feel, more and more and more to this kind of depression of, there is no point, there is no hope, you know, I'm going to look out for Luke and I'm going to train him one day, but at the same time, should I train him? Him leaving the toy was really sweet, though. Now, seeing baby Leia, like I said, I did not watch any of the trailers, so I don't know whether or not this plotline, given that this seems to be the kind of driving force of the show, I imagine it was in the trailers. I didn't watch any of them. The most I knew about the show going into it was I'd seen a still of the Inquisitor and people saying they didn't like how he looked. I think I can see kind of why, because obviously in Rebels, he has the really unnaturally like long thin head, which they didn't bother trying to replicate, and I don't think it would have worked very well. It'd been a lot of extra costly CGI when he was very chilling. He was just as chilling. And if you think about how differently Ahsoka looks from her Clone Wars self to that, it's okay. It's fine. He didn't quite have Jason Isaacs' drawl of evil, but he did do a very good job. He was very sinister, as were the other two Inquisitors. I don't know that... I feel like a little bit of, so far with them, they were very much just trying to be like, whoa, isn't she impulsive? Whoa, the other Inquisitors don't like her. I think we need to kind of see them a little bit more in action, but now that we know she's put in motion a kidnap a child strategy, it's interesting to me that the other Inquisitors weren't like, yeah, we're just going to kill all of you until you find the Jedi. That was very much the vibe I had got from them in the past. Obviously, to an extent, I suppose their purpose is to hunt Jedi, it's not to hunt civilians. If, as much as the Empire is in control, and at this point especially could crush any kind of rebellion that happened, if word got out that the Empire was just willy-nilly massacring civilians, I suppose there could be revolt and it could cause unrest, and if you can kind of just try and keep things generally oppressed and miserable, but not all the way oppressed and miserable, people might always sort of think, well, I could have it worse, so I have to keep quiet or whatever. So I think, yeah, so far the Inquisitor part was the weakest part for me, but it was still very, very interesting. It was very well done. I just thought the way they disagreed with each other so openly, I would have, you know, it was quite apparent to everyone there that those Inquisitors don't get along. But yeah, getting in Obi-Wan's head in this episode and then reaching this point where he's kind of, despite not thinking he's capable of it anymore, despite thinking that he's probably just going to go and mess it all up, and, you know, this little girl that he would do anything to make sure she was safe, his presence is just going to make it worse and it's going to be terrible. Leia is everything. Obviously we didn't see too much of little Luke, but little Luke seemed very little Luke. He's already getting dreams of being a pilot, even if he's never allowed off the farm. She is already dreading the idea of being a senator, wanting to be being a sort of a tomboy and running and climbing and watching the ships that come and go and imagining fantasy stories of what they're doing and everything. You can definitely see the strong young woman she's going to grow into inside this child, but right now she's just a scared little girl who's acting as brave as she can be, but she has never been in this kind of situation. She's never even been off-world. So I am very afraid for her. It's kind of nice, because you're like, okay, Obi-Wan's going to survive this, and Leia's going to survive this. You know, it's not like, what if they actually kill the child? Because, like, I've seen her. She gets older than this. But it was just, I really enjoyed seeing her characterization, seeing kind of how she grew up. I never expected to see that. So yeah, that was a big surprise for me and I absolutely loved it. I'm excited to watch the next episode now. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction and all of the Star Wars shows reactions on my Patreon. And thank you so much for watching.